I talked to multiple lifelong Democrats after the debate. They were very more than surprised about President Biden's
Hey,
performance. They
Brittany,
felt, yes,
Brittany,
yes,
none of us are lifelong Democrats. We have to wait till we're 18 to register.
sure. Well, okay,
So you got 18 years where you're free of
so
the
after
burden of having to
18
defend a
years on
political
the
party.
free market, after 18 years on
Yeah.
the free market, from 18
Yeah.
years and up, they were voting for Obama, Hillary Clinton, President Biden. They were surprised by President Biden's performance. They felt gaslit. One of them said to me, if I didn't know President Trump's performance as president, I would think he's more presidential right now. What do you say to these voters who feel angry with the Democratic Party right now?
Well, I don't know. I've never, it's not my best behavior to make a decision based upon anger. It just isn't. I find it to be understandable. I have plenty of it. But I don't, it's the wrong mood to make a decision, especially as important as this one is.
And so
That's
what
what
do
I
you
would
think?
say.
What do you think is the future for the Democratic Party then? Because there is this sense of panic after this debate. There is this sense that they're at a crossroads right now. Do we support President
Well,
Biden?
look, I
Do we
think,
move on?
well, it takes me, I think, to a different question than one you're asking. I mean, I think our presidential nominating process has to change. I think it's been corrupted by both political parties, and it makes it difficult to select the best the nation has to offer. I mean, they both voluntarily went out of the presidential debate process. That was a process intended to try to create a nonpartisan environment, and it didn't work. So, I mean, we don't have a federal law. The two parties decide when the caucuses are held, when the primaries are held. They get to decide all of that. And as important as this particular office is, it's the only office when we go to vote that has an impact on the entire country. But we have a crazy nominating process. I'd take the power away from both parties and establish a federal law that determines what's the terms and conditions under which we decide who's going to be president. How much money? When does the money start to be spent? All that. There's lots of things that could be done to improve the quality, not just for the purpose of saying academically it's better, but to increase the trust that people have that we have a process that leads to the best two people that we can possibly find to do the job. Uh-oh, balloons are going up. Did I do that?
They agree with you. There's a celebration for what you're saying. But what is that solution?
Did you do that? Did you
I
have the
didn't
balloons?
I didn't have the balloons going up. I think that was when your hand went up. But I think I mean, the balloons honestly were an interesting touch there because I think there is this sense of distrust in this system right now. So what is the biggest thing that you would say would add trust to this whole entire political presidential process?
Write a federal law that governs the terms and conditions of the presidential campaign. Don't leave it to the two parties. They have all the power in deciding who's going to, what you have to do to become a nominee of the party. It's a corrupt process. It doesn't lead to the best outcome. It just doesn't. So we need a federal law. You need to take the power away from those two political parties. You don't put them out of business. You can still have a political party, but don't give them the power and authority to decide who our nominees are going to be.
I know, circling back to the very beginning of the conversation, I know you didn't think that the national debt question was answered in a way that you would like to see. If there is a debate in September 12th, by all indications, there is going to be a debate in September. Do you want another question on the national debt, and what exactly would that question be?
First of all, you're very good at answering questions. You should be asking questions. You should be one of the moderators because you don't forget what the conversation was supposed to be about. Look, I think
Well,
you
I
have to say
appreciate
this.
that.
I think you have to say, I saw you guys do it. You got to a point you were paying off debt in 2000. What is your proposal to get us back to paying off debt? And if they say, well, we're going to do it with immigration or we're going to do it with growth, it has to be something that puts a constraint on spending, which Democrats agreed to in 1990, and has to do something that has some increase in revenue that doesn't impair growth in the economy. And in fact, in the third piece of legislation that we passed, we cut capital gains because we believed that would increase investment, increase the strength of the economy, and it turned out it did. So I think they've got to be very precise that they'll support a plan that includes revenue increases, that includes restraint on spending, that leads, by every expert opinion, to us being able to pay off debt.
And if they weren't super precise, and if you were the moderator, I'm sure you would turn off their mics until they answer that question.
I would announce to the public, both those two moderators, are they going to do the September one?
No, I believe it's either NBC or ABC.
Okay, so they'll send somebody from NBC and ABC that knows how to ask questions, and can tell inside of their bony little heads, they can understand when somebody is not answering the question, or when they're giving a answer that sounds like it's an answer, but it's not. They've got to force it, because if they don't force it, they move on to talk about gun control or some other issue. It's all over. They've never put the pressure on what I think is the most important issue in this campaign.